Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Throwbacks with SPC. I am your host, Ricia Paul, and if it is your first time joining us, Throwbacks with SPC is where we basically open the record books of events at Chopar Complex, and we speak with our very important stakeholders. So far, in the seven episodes that we've had so far, this is our eighth. We have spoken with government organizations, religious organizations, individual promoters. And today we have Mrs. Anne Marie Davis. She is the vice principal of Scarborough Secondary School. And of course, I'm joined by my co host and boss, Mr. John Arnold. Good morning, everyone, and welcome.
Morning, and welcome, Miss Davis.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome.
So, just for a bit of context and background, because we do have viewers from outside of Trinidad and Tobago, Scarborough Secondary School is a high school that is located here in Tobago. It is very close to our facility right here in Cho Park. It is a very vibrant high school, and they were the first institution to use or auditorium for graduations in 2017, and they've been using it every year since then. Well, minus 2020, we know COVID-19. Mrs. Davis, when I would have done my inquiries, I know that in terms of how the graduations are done, it would be with the form teachers, so the people would vary every year. But I was told that you would have been the common denominator for all of the graduations at Scarborough Sec. Could you tell us a bit about what led to the decision to use Shaw Park for that first year in 2017?
Okay. Good morning to everyone. First of all, Scarborough Secondary School excellence. So as a result, we ensure that we perform excellently in every aspect of our school life. As a result, we started to look around, or if I can say shop around, at various hotels, buildings, things that can, give us the kind of space and accommodation we needed, because we usually have at least 160 students in total. We usually have about 100 to 110 graduating each year. And we usually allow them to bring at least 3 to 4 guests. So there you see the numbers really spiraling. So we really needed a facility that would be able to accommodate as many guests as possible. And apart from the parents and guardians, we also have our specially invited guests. So we usually start shopping around in about March of each year, the beginning of March. We would visit various buildings and hotels of that nature. But what we found was that some of them, number one, the cost was very prohibitive, right? We couldn't afford the cost. It was out of our league. And in addition to that, the space was not sufficient. As a result, we decided, let us see if we can explore having our graduation in 2017, which was the first year we had it at Shaw Park facility. So I made contact with Mr. Arnold by email, and I explained to him, that we would like to have it there. And bingo, he said no problem, and he booked us in. And of course, we visited and everything, and we found that everything was in accordance with what we at Scarborough Secondary School were looking for in order to host a decent and enjoyable graduation for all parties concerned.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. I really like the fact that you started it. And what we found was that another school followed suit last year. And then we had requests for this year. And then, of course, COVID changed. But we had a third school who made a request to have graduations at Shaw Park. I think the one-stop shop, the one shop, or the one-stop shop is probably what really helps in that regard. Because I noticed you all use the front at the reception really well. You all outfit your students and ushers, which is a real key part to any event in Shaw Park. And then you all utilize a special kind of seating arrangement, which I think augurs really well for what we do at Shaw Park. So tell me a bit about the one-stop shop, because I think that was key. There's some pictures, of course, of the graduation and the audience, sitting in the audience and so on, and persons, invitees in the audience. But tell me a bit about the one-stop shop, how it works for you, and why was that advantageous?
Okay, right. So we looked at factors. There were certain determining factors that we as a committee would sit and discuss. So of course we are looking at comfortable and spacious seating for all our guests. We are looking at ease of access. Would the facility be easy to access, or would we have difficulties? Would it be difficult for our guests? We're also looking at sufficient parking, which was a major concern, because some of the
Right.
places I mentioned, that we visited, they didn't have sufficient parking. So sufficient parking was also an issue. We needed to have sufficient parking for everyone, so that everyone would feel, they can park their vehicle and it would be safe and secure. In addition to that, we're also looking at after the ceremony, how would we disperse our refreshments to our guests. So that was also a factor. And when we
Right.
looked at
Right.
all these factors and we came to Shore Park facility, they were able to accommodate us on all points. And in addition to that, one major factor was the close proximity of our school to Shore Park facility. Because remember, when
Yeah,
you are
both.
hosting a
Yeah.
graduation exercise, yes, when you're hosting a graduation exercise, you will need to bring over certificates, trophies, things of that nature, anything else. So it was very busy. So we set up our system in such a way that after school, we would just, have our teams, people were allocated different responsibilities, and people knew what they had to carry over to Shore Park. And then the team now met late in the afternoon, the evening prior, and we worked until most times we worked until about 1, 2 o'clock in the morning to make sure everything is in place. So the proximity, the close proximity of our school to Shore Park facility was a major determining factor.
Yeah. I think also the rehearsals, because of the proximity, you all were able to take advantage of rehearsals. Not so?
Yes, yes. Yes, we had rehearsals. So we would decide on a set date. We would liaise with the facility manager to ensure that we can access the facility, because everything you have to do through the facility manager. And once they give us a date and a time, we would inform the students, inform the parents. We are having rehearsal on a particular day at a particular time, and the students would come and practice. So it was really, as you say, a one-stop shop.
Yeah. What's going to happen when you get your new school? Are you all going to abandon us? Or are you all going to, now with your new school, go back to having your graduation in your new school? Or will you all continue to use us? I'll put you on the spot there.
Or when we what, I didn't hear the first part. You said with our new school?
No, I was saying when you get your
I
new
didn't hear you
school,
so clearly.
yeah, you will be getting a new school because it's announced. I'm asking, do I have your loyalty
Right.
towards Shore Park, or if you're now going to be using your new spanking facility?
Okay, well, we can't talk about something that has not yet materialized. So until such time, I think we'll be at show.
You're playing safe.
When that becomes a
Right,
reality, those in administration will so decide.
Mrs. Davis, one question that I have, and I feel like you would have spoken to it very directly. I would have just been wondering what the experience would have been like dealing directly with the team. I know that here in Tobago, a lot of times people tend to complain about poor customer service, just the inability to get like proper information
Yeah.
about something. But you would have spoken about the ease of emailing Mr. Arnold, speaking with our team at the facility. Was that like a full easy process from the moment that you contacted Mr. Arnold, he gave you the approval to having to make arrangements for rehearsals, whether it was
Yeah.
the stage, sound, lighting, and everything? Was that a totally smooth process for you guys?
I must say it was extremely smooth. We had no hiccups along the way. It was very easy. Once I send an email, I will get a prompt response. Once we arrive at the facility, we usually met a guard there by the name of Sean. He
Oh
was
my
very
goodness.
accommodating,
Yeah.
and even if we met, yes, yes, even if we met other security officers, they would all be very cordial and hospitable, and they would make us feel very welcome and accommodating. So we had no problem.
Yeah,
Awesome.
well,
It was an
I want to
enjoyable
also
experience,
say,
I must say.
yeah, I want to also say that your team when we had our team meetings, I must say your team was very, very, very organized. The planning was definitely on, and they knew exactly what they wanted. And I must say the cooperation was really
Yeah.
excellent. I'll give you all a big A on all those categories there.
Right.
Um, and I
Thank
mean, the
you.
thing is, I think in doing these kinds of events, people don't realize all these events call for the same kind of approach. Some of these events differ. Last week we had the Jehovah Witness. Week before that we spoke to a car show we had outside. We've spoken to persons who have done concerts, laugh shows,
Okay.
comedy. Every single event has its own
Yeah.
nuances. But what's key is that all of them
Right.
entail the same things. You gotta have proper reception, proper
Yeah.
ushering, proper admission. You have
Right.
to have proper service at the front. You have to have proper accommodation, good sound, good lighting, good arrangement, good staging.
Yeah.
So that for me is what is key is really when you sit with the planners. And in your case, your people always knew what they wanted. As a matter of fact, I want to say that I think you all gave us a good benchmark for the graduations because when others came, what we had to do was say, we always referred to Scarborough Sec. So we say, well, this
Okay.
is what Scarborough Sec did. Maybe if you don't want to do that, you
Right.
can do this. But you became the kind of benchmark that we had to use. And I think that was really, really good.
Okay. Yeah.
Given the whole, well, obviously
Yeah.
we know that
Well, I'm
we're
very
reeling
heartened to
from.
hear that. So thank you for the compliment. I'll pass it on to the team.
Yeah, yeah,
We try to
yeah.
be trendsetters, and once we are trendsetters, we try to set a good trend. We usually
Yeah,
have
for
like a
sure.
graduation committee, right? The graduation is planned basically by the form teachers. Okay, the form teachers would liaise with the students. So whoever is in charge of the fifth form year group, they would be the charge for the graduation ceremony person. And out of that, you'll have a coordinator. A coordinator will be selected
Uh,
from that group of teachers, and that person would call various meetings. Aside from that, we have an additional graduation committee, which is made up of external teachers. Okay, I'm also a part of that committee. And we would sit in on
right,
the
right.
meetings because we want to ensure that when we are planning our graduation, we stick to certain practices and customs of the school, and we don't have any particular year group digressing too much from that because Scarborough Secondary School is known for a certain standard and a certain style of performance. So we have to ensure that that means, so the purpose of having the external committees to ensure that, our common practices are maintained and that everything is done in accordance with what Scarborough Secondary stands for.
Tell me a bit about, I mean, schools. I taught for 23 years, so I'm pretty good at understanding there have been some serious shifts in terms of managing schools, in terms of children performance, in terms of children attitudes, in terms of everything. The advent of technology, the internet, the phones, smartphones, etc. I mean, a bit off of
Mhm,
the event now, but going a little more
mhm.
into the school education and Tobagonians. What for you would you say about maybe two or three of the immediate challenges you have seen as a shift from the child of maybe 10, 15 years ago and the child of today?
Okay. Well, the child of today is more into technology. Children are born into the technology age, right? So they tend to gravitate towards the use of technology more than children of long ago. So we have to use technology in as many facets of our education system as possible because we have to try and meet as many students as possible by this means because this is what they know. This is what is open for them. This is what is common for them. So we have to be able to infuse the use of technology into the classroom to ensure that no child is left behind and everyone can be accommodated using this medium. with which they are all familiar.
Right, but I saw an essay that was a teacher showed me of a student, and all throughout the whole essay, the language was similar to what we normally talk on WhatsApp. The same shorthand we use on WhatsApp was actually in the essay. And she said, this is such a challenge that the children are accustomed communicating like this, the LOLs and the WRT, and so they actually believe that's the way it goes. And then when it's time to write normal, they have a challenge. How is that dealt with? I mean, in terms of, it's almost like saying, how do you move people from a nice colloquial kind of Tobagonian Creole and to write standard English,
Yeah.
I mean, how
well, I've
do you
heard
all
teachers
handle
talk
that?
about that same issue. So deal with it. Yeah. Well, I believe, I mean, I'm not an English teacher. I was a Spanish teacher,
Right.
but I believe we have a very competent and efficient language department run by a very able-bodied individual. And they usually deal with these issues maybe one-on-one. When they give essays, they will usually highlight the errors that have been made and bring it to the attention of the students. And, you have to show them there's a difference. The language that you use to text cannot be the language that you use to do your essays, because that will not be acceptable at CSEC level or even at CAPE level. So they have to make a distinction between what you use to text, that's for text simples, and what we use in class, that's for your essay and your literature and things of that nature. A distinction must be made, because you don't want children to feel, okay, I text this way so I can just transfer this writing into my classroom. No, it doesn't work like that. A distinction must be made.
Okay, and I mean, I don't want to say, maybe my penultimate question. I may have one more. We have Shopper that's close to you, and you have your school that's right there. What about other events? I mean, at Signal Hill, I know we used to have Star Class. We used to put on at least 2 or 3 other events per year as fundraisers, and also to create a kind of platform for students to showcase their talent and so on. Do you envisage any plans, seeing that Throwbacks is so close, to have that kind of association or that kind of use of the facility, seeing that it's there, to encourage more events of that kind that can allow maybe for your school talent, a speech night, other forms of expression, a production from the school. Is that something you all have ever given thought, or maybe I'm now throwing some thought into your pool there?
Okay, well, actually, we had a show of that nature that we started.
Hello?
Yeah, I think we lost her. All right, so maybe we could show the video in the meantime, Risa.
The slideshow from the graduation?
But it's a
Sure.
show where you were able to. No, I think you.
No, we lost you for a bit, so you could probably just start your
so,
thoughts again.
Yeah.
Oh,
we lost that last
right,
thought
I
you
think
just
he was
gave.
asking me if Right, no, right. I just want to make sure I'm clear, because I kind of lost you as well. You were asking us about having a show where we have talent and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah,
and
but I
if
was
we would
asking,
be
it doesn't
willing
have to
to
be.
have it at your
Yeah,
facility.
correct. Yes, and I was asking, is that something you
Right.
have
So I
given?
was saying that
Yeah.
Right. So I was saying last year on September 29th, 2019 to be exact, we started a show which was highlighting the talents of students of Scarborough Secondary School. We have a finance and fundraising committee, and we wanted to see if we can raise some funds for the school. So we decided, let us have a talent show. It turned out to be a beautiful show, actually. But we did visit your facility, but I think you all were under repairs at the point in time. So we had to use another facility, which turned out quite well, right? So we are also having shows that highlight the talent of students. And once a show park facility is available, we would use it.
Well, I want to encourage that, because that's one of the things we really,
Yes.
just as how we encourage several art shows, we have several art shows supporting artists who want to do their exhibitions. Similarly, I think we have to encourage all these activities. I dare say we have just completed, we actually tested the AC for the first time yesterday. We now have 3 brand new chillers. So we now have a complete fridge.
Okay.
There's a few things to tweak so that we should have 10 to 12
Right.
years of uninterrupted service from now, because thanks to the THA, thanks to the Chief Ad, Chief Sec, that we were able to get the funding to get all 3 chillers replaced. And chillers have all been rust proofed and so on. So here, I'm using the opportunity to tell you we should not have those kinds of interruptions again. I think it should be pretty smooth
Okay.
sailing. And so we can talk about, because you see,
Right.
Shaw Park has the equipment, it has the sound, the lighting, staging. You recall when we had the Chinese here, the Chinese had a full, well-produced, the embassy, which was done in collaboration with their own technical people from China. And we were able to do a fully well-produced show that we can speak Chinese, but we understood the diagrams they gave. And so we were able to execute and follow the lighting plot, sound plot, stage plot, everything. And so I think we have to look at Shaw Park as the place you have to come. This is the mecca of events. So I just want to encourage you all going forward, when you all are having those kinds of shows, certainly I think you should come to Shaw Park.
Yes, we will.
Mrs. Davis, my
We'll
final
be back.
question. Earlier, you spoke about the importance of use of technology with the current generation of school children. Was there any consideration given to having some form of a virtual graduation or graduation greetings to the class of 2020?
Okay, now when COVID took place, remember school was closed in the middle of March. So we were now in the planning stages of having our graduation.
Oh, wow.
I'm being honest, from then to now, the coordinator has been in touch with the parents to a certain extent, but we have not really sat as a committee and have had a meeting due to the fact that we had to organize, we had to organize classes for students, do timetables, that sort of thing, to ensure that teaching continued virtually. We have not really sat as a committee to decide, do we have a graduation for this group of students, or do we just leave it as that? So that decision as a team has not been made as yet, right? People have spoken about having it virtually, but we haven't really made a final decision. So I hope that soon we will meet as a team and make a decision if we're having it virtually or that we can have it otherwise. Because I think it's only fair to this group of students that they have a little send off for their friends, for the final time.
Yeah, and at Shaw Park, if there's any way you need help, Reese is a very resourceful person. If there's any way we can help, certainly we would be willing to do that, And yeah, don't worry about the charge. No charge.
Any final thoughts, Mrs. Davis, Mr. Arnold?
No, Ms. Davis.
Well, first of all, I just want to use this forum to thank Mr. Arnold and his team. Okay, all the people we have interacted with through the years for being so hospitable and accommodating and, ensuring that all our particular needs were met at that point in time. And in going forward, I know that we'll continue to share an amicable relationship with them. And I want to encourage other individuals, maybe other schools, to use the facility. It's there, it's our facility, and it's there
Yep.
to be used. So just go ahead and use it and have fun. All our
Okay.
experiences have been very pleasant to date.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Davis, for joining us. Thank you to our viewers for watching. If you have missed any episode of Throwbacks with SPC, you can view the entire season
You're
so far on
welcome.
our YouTube and or Facebook pages. All our social media handles are Showpark Complex. We look forward to seeing you next time, next Thursday, with another interview on Throwbacks with SPC. Have a great day.